Numbskull News, and today I'm going to get into Miami and Clemson, but first I'm going to talk about Miami. I believe they're going to be the first realignment target. Everything just lines up. You may think it's UNC, UVA before anybody else, or Notre Dame. Now, of course, Notre Dame. But are they going to join a conference? Are they going to join the Big Ten? Are they going to leave independence behind? I think most people would say no. And I would agree with most people. So what does that leave? I mean, Florida State, right? Oh my God, Florida State. But, a lot of people have speculated that they've pissed off a lot of people in the Big Ten. Miami hasn't. However, there is a lawsuit, that Wisconsin lawsuit. That's two separate things. And that has nothing to do with realignment. Let me break this down for you. If that had happened with Wisconsin, and instead of Miami, let's say it was Wake Forest that got the player. Would Wisconsin sue Wake Forest? Yes. Would the Big Ten completely back up in public Wisconsin against Wake Forest? Yes, they would. They would against Alabama, Texas, doesn't matter. The lawsuit would still happen. They would still be fully backed in public by the Big Ten. Why? Because that made the Big Ten look bad. What happened to Wisconsin in that whole freaking drama made the Big Ten look bad. So they have to back their member school fully in public. Try to save some face with this whole thing. Now, that's a whole different set of business than it is with Miami coming into the Big Ten. Once upon a time, Bob Bowlesby, former commissioner of the Big 12, sent a cease and desist letter to ESPN. Now, you may not take that seriously, but in legal jargon, that's very serious because, he did it through the courts. And then what happened, maybe a year and a half later, the Big 12 re-upped their deal for more money with ESPN. It was two separate things going on there. All right, so people need to relax on the Wisconsin lawsuit talk in Miami. Oh, that could prevent Miami from getting into it. It has nothing to do with Miami getting into the Big Ten. Period. Next up, exit fees. Because my thought is that Miami is not going to wait till 2030. I should really say the Big Ten media partners in the Big Ten, they're not going to wait till 2030 to snatch up Miami. I'm predicting they'll be in the Big Ten playing games starting in the 2028 season. In case you're counting, that's 3 years from now. I think there's going to be movement really soon. 2026, I think we should be hearing something about Miami going to the Big Ten. Those exit fees. Look, Miami's a rich school. They're not worried about exit fees. Besides, are they going to really pay all those exit fees? And to get out early, that's not $75 million. That's what? So I don't know, somewhere north of 100, 120, 30, whatever it is, $1 million. But you think they're going to pay all that themselves? Keep in mind, the Big Ten are looking at private capital. All right, they got several lined up. They're looking through it. That's a lot of money they can use to throw at an exit fee for Miami. And keep in mind, I believe Miami would come in as a full share. Like what? Oregon and Washington didn't come in at a full share? No, but UCLA did. Now they were attached to USC. This is the point I'm trying to make. And this is one of the reasons why, the biggest reason why this is going to happen. The Big Ten needs more premium matchups. They have 3 big media partners, all of them paying big money. Remember, ESPN bowed out. All right, they were outbid. The reason for that is because they knew there's not enough premium matchups for what they consider right for the investment that they needed to make to outbid NBC or outbid CBS. So they weren't going to outbid. The other two did because I think personally, I think they believe in the upside of the Big Ten, that there would be further expansion, and those premium matchup problems will be alleviated by said expansion. Hence, Miami, they're going to go after them. They're going to offer them a full share to get out. And they may help them a little bit. Remember, Colorado got a bonus for leaving the Pac-12 for the Big 12. A bonus paid by ESPN. Fox could very well offer a bonus to Miami that may cover a good chunk of that cost to get out of the ACC early. So therefore, the exit fees aren't a problem. Now, why do I think Miami will be the first domino to fall? Because they meet every criteria, they check every box, whether that's an athletics, football brand, their market in Miami, in the state of Florida, and viewership. They do the right kind of research, the whole nine. The presidents of the Big Ten, the ADs of the Big Ten, the media partners, and any private capital partner the Big Ten may have, all of them would agree and be on board with that expansion, with that school in that market, with that kind of viewership, of offering premium matchups. A school like UVA, does anyone give a damn when UVA would play Penn State or Ohio State or Michigan or Oregon or Washington or USC or Nebraska, Wisconsin? No one cares. Miami? Oh, that's a primetime game. That's a primetime game. That's a premium matchup. You get big eyeballs on that shit. Now, let me get to something that I think a lot of people, even Big Ten people, would agree. You know, they may not think Miami will be the first, but they would agree Miami would be a prime target for the Big Ten. So here's one that's not, people in the Big Ten especially will not agree with, and maybe even a lot of Clemson fans may not agree with, but I believe right after that, around the same time, they're going to make a hard push for Clemson. Clemson. That's right. This non-special academic school, not AAU, nowhere close to AAU, from everything I've understand. I'm not saying it's not a great educational institution. I'm not saying that. But just on these lofty perches of the Big Ten, they don't quite meet that. Every time I've ever brought up Clemson possibly maybe being thought of or being considered for the Big Ten, I've always had Big Ten people push back. There's no way. They ain't going to do it. Folks, let's don't act like the Big Ten presidents can't be, I'm not going to say pushed into something. I'm going to say on a business level, be negotiated with, and then they could see, hey, this really makes a lot of sense for us. This helps us make more money on our next media rights deal than we currently get. Now, they're going to make more money, but how much more money? How much more money is the Big Ten going to get in 2030? I mean, are they going to increase their media rights by 10%, 20%? I mean, let's just say those are the two options. You either increase by 10% or you increase by 20%. I mean, it could be more than that. I don't know. I'm just using those numbers as like a fictional gauge just to illustrate what I'm talking about. Adding nobody, just as is, you go up 10%. That's nice. But how about if you can double that to 20%? Just with Miami and Clemson. Yeah. Would they be full member institutions? Yes. Why? Because I believe the media companies will pay for that because they need it. Miami can offer, look, they're not going to play all the top schools every year. But probably on average, about 3 of those top schools every year. Yeah, more than likely. Clemson, probably the same thing. So you're talking about adding 6 more premium matchups a year. 2 for Fox, 2 for CBS, 2 for NBC. Oh, that'll go a long way to making those people happy. Happy enough to add more money onto that media deal in the next media package. And I'm sure there's Florida State fans. Hey, why Clemson? Why not Florida State? Why Miami? Why not Florida State? I keep reading how the Big Ten has really been put off by Florida State. They really don't. I don't know if they like what they've done very much. Because, look, Clemson also sued the ACC, but if you notice, they're a little quieter about it. They didn't make a big stint. They did it. And I think if you got every president and every AD in the Big Ten off record in private, they'd all say, well, I don't blame Clemson for doing that at all. And as a matter of fact, they'd probably admire more how they did it quietly. Even though it was out in public, big news, they still, they were subtle about it. And Florida State was the one banging the pots in the kitchen, right? I hear that has a lot of, it causes problems for certain Big Ten people, which may not want Florida State for that very reason. Other reasons for Clemson, look, you get into Florida with Miami. South Carolina hasn't been talked about very much as far as a growing market. It's a fast growing market. All right, it's smaller than North Carolina, but it's actually growing at a faster percentage rate than North Carolina. And as far as recruiting, I mean, you're right there to recruit from North Carolina, from Atlanta, Northern Florida, Georgia. I mean, you're right there. It's a great location for the Big Ten to add a second school from. But look, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people out there. No way Clemson gets to the Big Ten. Well, I don't think right now you could say no way on a lot of this shit. No one's got a crystal ball. You Nostradamus? No, he dead. He's dead. Long dead. Before football was ever a thing. So you can't, you could say that. You could have that feeling. That could be your expression. But it's nothing more than that. It's nothing factual. I can't sit there and guarantee 100% Clemson's in. But I'm willing to believe, I'm willing to bet that it's going to be Miami and Clemson to the Big Ten. Now, that goes against a lot of my earlier speculation of FSU and Clemson going to the SEC. But I have a feeling the SEC and ESPN are going to drag their feet. The Big Ten is going to be hot and heavy. They're going to be on fire to get a couple of big-time football brands and add them. Their media partners definitely are hot and heavy for that. I believe they are working right now, talking to Miami, talking to Clemson, maybe a few other people. But I think those are the two big targets, especially for the Big Ten media markets. And if you can give the presidents of the Big Ten something that they want, which everything I'm reading, it's all about Miami. They may be more willing. Okay, we get Miami, cool. We love Miami to be in here. A nice, prestigious market in Miami and all that. So they may be willing to, okay, we never really considered Clemson Big Ten material, maybe. But, if that's what Fox, NBC, and CBS want, and they're willing to give us more money for it, we'll let them in. Not more money immediately, but more money down the road, next media contract. So they may be willing to capitulate to their media partners. So they get one for them, and they get one for the partners. And then work on getting Clemson up to speed academically, get them in AAU status eventually down the road. Keep in mind, the Big Ten at one time added Nebraska. And right after they got added, they lost their AAU status. They didn't have it for that long after they became members of the Big Ten. Most of this time, they have not been an AAU school. Do you think the Big Ten presidents and everybody involved didn't know that Nebraska was in danger of losing their AAU accreditation before they joined the Big Ten? Oh, they knew. The thing was, they looked at the viewership of Nebraska. They looked at the brand of Nebraska, and they realized, holy shit, this is an incredible ad for us in our athletic conference. So we'll overlook that. Maybe they lose their AAU status, fine. They'll get it back later on. We'll work on it. And they've been willing to work on it ever since. Why? Because Nebraska brings the viewership. The Cornhusker faithful show up every Saturday. Same thing with Clemson. They show up. They are there. Oh, do they need to buy a membership into the Big Ten network? They will, to watch their beloved Tigers take on the world. They will. Not every school in the Big Ten can say that. And definitely not every school in the ACC can say that. But you can say that about Clemson. Absolutely. Stable. And they win. They win and they are watched nationally. When Clemson plays a big brand, people pay attention. That's why there's a good chance for them to be added. I think they will be. That's my new speculation. Miami, Clemson, Big Ten. Book it? Sure. Book it. Anyway, thanks for watching this crap, and I'll be back with some more crap later. Bye.